Good morning, everybody. Today's yoga challenge day 5 is going to be focused on practicing some headstand work. So eventually, I hope that you guys can develop your own headstand practice like you see here. So I just wanted to show you a couple of things that you could look forward to in your headstand. But yeah, so grab your mat and meet me in a seated position at the top and get excited to start day 5 of the yoga challenge. Find yourself in a seated position, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4, quieting the mind, slowing the breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, rolling those shoulders back, relaxing the jaw, setting an intention for your practice. Whether it be don't give up, try something new, step out of your comfort zone, grounding, pick something that sticks with you during this practice today. We're going to start this practice warming up the neck. So we're going to inhale and take that right arm up over the head, landing our hand on our left ear, stretching the left side of the neck. Exhale, roll the neck forward so that you're looking down at your lap with both hands now supporting the neck. Feel free to rub it out. Or just hold and apply some light pressure. Exhale, rotate to the other side. So now your left hand should be gently pressing on the right ear. Now we're going to drop our hands, placing them on our lap or knees. And we're going to do some cat-cows in seated position while rolling that neck around. So inhaling and tucking that belly in, exhaling, sending the chest forward and the belly out, rolling the head with you, moving at your own flow and your own rhythm, tapping into that breath, letting the shoulders roll. Awesome work. Finish up stretching the neck, interlace the fingers behind the body for a forward fold in seated position. Exhale, release the fingertips and come into your tabletop pose. We're going to warm up the wrists. So begin rocking forward and backwards or side to side. It's day 5, so if you found what feels good for you and you just like doing clockwise and counterclockwise circles, that's fine too. Using the breath to guide you through your movements. On your next exhale, turn those hands so that your fingers are facing the outside edges of your mat and continue to move side to side, forward and backwards. This morning, my left wrist was giving me extra trouble, so I have to give it a little more love. Exhale, turn those hands so that the fingers are facing your body and that your palms are facing the sky. Gently sink back into those heels. And then flip the palms so that they're facing the floor, but fingertips are still facing the body. Again, very gently sinking back into those heels. Inhale. Inhale, untuck those hands, untuck the toes, sit back on the heels, and start your wrist rolls. Taking either the thumb and the middle or pointer finger, hooking them around that wrist, the opposite wrist, and rolling those wrists out clockwise and counterclockwise. After rolling out both sides, we're going to bring our hands into Heart's Prayer, and then we're going to shift our arms to the right, dropping to the floor, placing our left hand on the mat with our right hand stacked on top. So inhale, bring your hands to heart pose. Exhale, twist the body towards the right side of the mat, dropping that left hand to the floor, and rotate the wrist clockwise and counterclockwise while applying pressure with the right palm. And then switch sides. So now the right palm should be on the floor on the left side of the mat, with the left palm applying pressure. Inhale, sit up. We're going to take our our left arm, crossing it over the right, interlacing our fingers, and then we're going to wrap in towards the body, coming all the way through up towards the chest, out, and then back in. Awesome. We're going to switch sides and take that right arm, cross it over the left, interlace those fingers, roll through the body, and then exhale, come back. Shake out those wrists. We're crawling into puppy pose. Hips should be stacked over the knees, arms crawling forward, chest reaching for the floor, head resting on the ground or chin resting on the ground. Exhale, deepen into that stretch. Inhale, take the right arm and hook it behind the back, leaving the left arm as it is. Exhale, unhook that right arm. Inhale, lift the left arm, bend that elbow, hook it behind the back, reaching for that right thigh to grab onto something. Really letting the shoulders open up and any tension release. Exhale, bring your arms back to center and find your way into our first downward facing dog. Taking the time to really pedal out those heels, pushing those shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the spine, stretching those heels, rolling those ankles out. From here, we're going to inhale, sweep that left leg up, bend at the knee, opening up the hips, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise at the hip. Try to do 5 circles each way. Exhale, bring that left leg all the way forward to the front of the mat and drop down into your pigeon pose. Option to forward fold, option to stay right where you are. Make sure you're focusing on squaring those hips, driving that right hip to the floor. Inhale, lift off the ground and come into your lizard pose, left foot outside of the left hand. Option to use that left hand to deepen the stretch. Exhale, drop the right leg to the floor and reach back for that left foot. From here, we're going to move into our side lunge, so turn those toes towards the wide edge of your mat and flow through side lunge, thinking about keeping your foot that's not extended flat on the ground, and then trying to lift the chest up. So keep that foot planted and then work on sinking closer to the floor. Flow through one more time and then come to side lunge on the opposite side that you did your pigeon pose, and turn your toes to face the short end of the mat. Now we're in lizard pose on the other side, dropping onto our back foot, using our right arm to grab that left foot, opening up the chest and the hips, getting a deeper stretch. Pull that foot closer towards the body for a deeper stretch. Exhale, release, plant the hands, lift the back leg, and come into your pigeon pose with your right foot in front, squaring the hips, tucking the toes, potentially forward folding. Moving that foot around, finding what works for you, challenging yourself to deepen the stretch today. Exhale, bring that left foot gently around to the front of the body, stacking it over the right leg for cow face. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, wrap those arms into eagle's pose, crossing at the elbows, trying to get your fingers to meet. Releasing before inhaling, arms overhead, and exhaling for eagle pose on the other side. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, release the arms. We're coming up, twisting around, and dropping down into cow face on the other side. Our right leg should now be stacked on top of our left. Inhaling with the arms overhead. Exhaling into your eagle arms. Inhaling, lifting those eagle arms up, opening the chest. Exhaling, unhooking the arms. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, eagle pose on the other side. Inhale, lift the arms in eagle pose. Exhale, release the arms. Unhook the legs. Step into your downward facing dog. Before walking those feet forward, heel toeing the edges wide towards the edge of the mat. We're going to be coming into our garland pose. So dropping into that low squat, adjusting your feet so that it feels right for you. Using those arms for stability and a deeper stretch. Option to take that right arm and hook it around the right leg. An option to take the left arm, hooking around the back, meeting that right leg for a deeper stretch. And on the other side, you would take the left leg and wrap it around the left calf. Take that right arm around the back, meet the fingers for a deeper stretch. Option to stay right where you are. Inhale, lift out of your garland pose into a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Flow through this at your own pace. Option to take opposite arm to opposite ankle for a bit of a side stretch. Option to continue flowing just through. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, interlace the fingers behind the back. In your forward fold, rocking, bending those knees, loosening up the hips, letting gravity shift the upper body towards the floor. Gently release the fingers, bringing the arms down into our ragdoll pose, grabbing those hands to our opposite elbows, continuing to let yourself rock with a bend at the knees. Inhale, turn your feet towards the short edge of the mat so that your right foot is in front of you. Exhale, place the hands on the floor and drop down into your low lunge. We're flowing through half pyramid and runner's pose. Option to keep the back knee off the ground during this flow. I personally don't like it as much. Here is me showing you, but other than that, I like to keep my knee on the floor as I flow through my half pyramid and my runner's lunge. Option to grab that toe as it comes up off the mat for a deeper stretch, pulling it, creating more tension. Continue flowing, inhaling and exhaling, deepening the breath, deepening the pose and the stretch. Exhale, step into your downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward and flow through on the left side. Again, option to lift that right leg off the floor. I personally don't find it comfortable and prefer to keep my leg on the ground. Again, option to grab those toes, gently pulling and pushing on that foot as you rock back and forth. Exhale and find your way to a seated position with your legs extended in front of you. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. In a forward fold, we want to think about getting our stomach to our thighs. See all that space between my body? We don't want that. So bend the legs, get the stomach and the chest to meet the thighs, and then think about slowly straightening those knees, wiggling the legs. Keeping the focus on hinging at the hips and folding that top half forward. Option to wrap the arms under the thighs like I do to just help hug your legs. But we're not trying to touch our toes. We're trying to get our body to fold in half. And to do that, we need our front half to touch our legs. This is going to help you in so many other different poses in yoga. So just really focus on that. Inhale, open those legs for a wide-legged seated forward fold. Start by just putting those forearms on the ground, or even just the fingertips. But you're welcome to come down onto your forearms, and then if you want, slowly start to crawl those hands forward. Again, we're thinking about hinging at those hips, so we're going to start to slowly think about rolling the hips forward and not just trying to grab your toes. Come into mountain pose at the top of your mat and inhale, arms overhead. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step those feet back and press into a downward facing dog. From here, we're doing knee to noses. So we're going to inhale and sweep that right leg up. Exhale, tuck it all the way into the nose. We're doing 5. Exhale into nose. Exhale into the nose. Think about squeezing. 2 more. Rolling that body forward. Hold. And last one. Awesome. Step the feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back and press into downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up. Exhale, bring that knee into the nose. Trying to lift the body as high as we can. Engaging that core and the legs and the shoulders and the arms. We're doing 2 more. We're going to squeeze and hold it on the last one. So exhale, bring that leg in. Squeeze, hold. And send it back. Exhaling that left leg to the floor before sinking into child's pose. for a quick rest. Next, we're going to be moving through the chaturanga flow of our sun sows. So we're going to inhale, step the feet forward for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back. We're lowering into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling through chaturanga, lowering on the exhale. Inhaling through upward facing dog, and then rolling back into your downward facing dog. Let's do that again. Thinking about using those feet and strengthening the toes and the ankles to propel you forward into your upward facing dog, and then to roll you back into your downward facing dog. So inhale, go up on the toes, roll the body forward, lower into chaturanga, roll the toes over, upward facing dog, and roll the toes back, downward facing dog. One more time. Exhaling through chaturanga, inhaling upward facing dog, exhaling downward facing dog. This is our last one now. Really keeping those elbows tight to the side and the body and core tight and straight. After finishing your last chaturanga flow through, come into child's pose for a quick break. Feel free to grab some water at any time. Inhale, come up into downward dog and step those feet forward. Halfway lift. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, standing. We're moving into our next exercise. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back into downward facing dog. We're doing around the clock. So take that right leg, we're bringing it up, down to our wrist, and we're making squares from our tricep to our wrist, to our left wrist, to our left tricep. We're doing 5 boxes on the right leg. Trying to keep the knee as close to your arms as possible. 1 full box is 1 rep. When you're done, step those feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into standing. We're going to repeat on the opposite side. Inhale the arms over the head. Exhale, forward fold. Step the feet back into downward facing dog. And start on the left side. So bringing that left leg to the top of the tricep, dropping it down to the left wrist, and then rotating to the right wrist, up to the right tricep. It's okay if your knee is not touching your arm. That's a goal you can set for yourself. After making 5 boxes, come into child's pose. Find your way into your boat pose. So bringing those feet first onto the floor in a seated position, and then inhaling, lifting them off the floor, bringing them into your boat pose. We're going to be doing some bicycles. So opposite elbow to opposite leg. Squeezing that core, using our butt bone to balance. It's important to warm up the core before starting some headstand practice. Awesome job. We're doing 10. And then we're going to move into expanding those legs, placing our hands on the floor for support. We're doing some scissors. Feel free to do them kicking your legs up and down, or you can cross your legs over top, alternating right and left. It's whatever feels more comfortable or challenging to you. Awesome work. We're going to start some headstand. So first we're going to go over what our hands should be like when we're in a headstand. We want to interlace our fingers nice and tight. We're going to be resting our head in our hands, actually, and not resting our head on the floor. So it's important. We're going to be placing the crown of our head into our hands, And we really want the focus to be on protecting our neck. So in a headstand, your head and neck should be straight, just as it is if you were standing normally. So we want that neck to be straight. We don't want it hunched. We don't want it too forward or back. We want it to be stretched out. So interlace those fingers. Place the crown or the top of your head into those hands for support. You should barely feel your head touching the ground. All of the pressure is ultimately going to be in your hands and in those forearms, which is why we need to strengthen the arms, the shoulders, the core, the wrists, everything. So from here, we have our hands and we have our head positioning. I'm going to fix my hair so that this is easier. And so we want to find ourselves with our hands on the mat and our head in our hands. And we're going to lift the hips. And really the best thing to do is start taking one foot off the ground at a time, making little baby hops. If you have a wall nearby, that's going to be great for the next exercise. I'm trying to make practices that don't require equipment, but even if you're outside and there's a building or a tree, you can get creative and you can utilize anything to help with your headstands. So when you're ready, you can really start to play however you feel comfortable. You want to think about bringing that thigh into your body. Oh my goodness, Chance. And then slowly starting to lift that right leg off the floor. If you naturally have a very engaged core, this is going to be a lot easier for you, and you might find yourself just starting to slowly lift, but just baby jumps, trying to get a little hang time. And we're going to come onto the wall now. So same thing, set up those hands in the head. If you have a wall, a tree, a post, I'm serious, get creative, guys, because the only thing stopping yourself will be you. Find something, and we want to walk our legs up the wall so that we can fully extend one of our legs, which will allow us to focus on getting that straight core. We want to focus on not arching the back, but tucking the pelvis. So again, just as if you were standing, you don't normally stand with your back arched and your butt out. It's the same thing if you're going upside down. So start anywhere you want. You can start just with your feet on the wall, not moving. You can start with 1 foot on the wall, 1 foot off the wall. And then you can alternate feet, trying to get a little tiny bit of hang time in between both. So this space today is all yours, and this time is all yours. I'm just here to provide a couple of different exercises and examples to get you up and on your head. Feel free to practice these for as long or as little as you like. But after you've practiced on the wall for a bit, if you're feeling ready, try and do a handstand or a headstand off the wall. Making sure our arms are shoulder width apart. Coming into that dolphin pose we've worked on. And it's really best to not just try and jump with your legs straight, but see how I keep my legs bent. So you're coming up, you're tucking one leg in, and then you're trying to tuck the other leg in. That's going to help you prevent arching your back as well. I hope you guys can benefit from this, and I promise that next week's day 5, so day 10, is going to be a step up from this sequence for our headstands. I added a bit of Shavasana at the end. You're totally welcome to cut it out. But you know the deal. I'm going to walk you through a little Shavasana for those who might want to do it. So find yourself lying on your back. Relax the body from head to toe, closing the eyes. Finding that breath. Inhaling for 4. Exhaling for 4. Rolling those shoulders away from the ears. Taking a moment to relax that jaw. Shavasana. And whenever you're ready, you may roll onto your side, resting on your arm, keeping the eyes closed before finding our way into a seated position. I hope you guys could take away some warm-ups for the body to start working on some tips I've given you for headstand pose. This is only the beginning, so don't be discouraged. Just be so proud that you got on your mat today and maybe tried something new for the first time ever. The light and love in me always honors and respects the light and love in you. Namaste. Thank you for participating in day 5 of the challenge.